What day is it? I don't even know. It's Monday. I meant like, where am I in this video? I don't remember if I mentioned it already, but I'm kind of in a depressive funk for the last few weeks. At this point, as an adult that's been kind of dealing with that for years, you just kind of have to like acknowledge and just like let the feelings pass. And it like sucks because you just basically sit there and you're like, I feel really depressed. And there's not much I can do about it. I just have to let the feelings pass and just like process everything. And then you're probably like, okay, well, why were you sad? Why were you depressed? For me lately, it's always been the same thing. Like, I'll be honest. I would consider myself like a part-time stay-at-home mom. I say part-time because my son does go to school and I pick him up. A big part of me didn't quite imagine my life being like that, but yet at the same time I did. And what I mean by that is like, you know, I had always wanted to have the flexibility to be there for my children, to pick them up from school, be with them on sick days, and just, you know, be able to be a mom and spend time with them. But at the same time, when I imagined that, I guess I just assumed that like work-wise, you know, I was a designer at the time back in the day. I used to work in tech, that maybe I would do like freelance work and that's how I would do both. And that was mainly because such a big part of my identity was tied to what I did for a living. And now fast forward to now, I don't really do freelance. I don't work in tech anymore. Yeah, I don't really have an identity besides like mom, which is again not where I saw my life. It's hard to reconcile that where, yeah, I'm really happy and I feel like blessed to be able to do certain mom things I wanted, to have that freedom. But then at the same time, I feel really lost and just kind of like sad that I lost a big part of my identity and what I do. And then like, yeah, I make content right now, but let's just be honest, I'm not getting paid for it. I think if that changed, then I might feel a little better with what I do, because it does take work. It takes a lot of work to film, edit, and all this other stuff that I won't get into. But yeah, I mean, I've been processing that lately. And that's kind of why I feel sad a lot, just mourning a certain identity and yeah, feeling lost as an adult, which is possible, right? Anyway, we'll go on the walk. It'll make me feel better. I'm pretty sure it will. That's why I love morning walks. I mean, it's not as intense as like runs or going to the gym, but I love being outside. Lazy Wednesday afternoon. I should probably grab a late lunch real quick. Can I just tell you, the context switching also gets a little bit too much between filming a long form video and then going back and doing a quick like short or TikTok. Both in similar style, vlog style, although this is obviously a little bit more casual because we're just hanging out, and the shorter form stuff I do, you know, hopefully is a little bit more entertaining. But either way, like switching between back and forth, like crap, what am I filming, that can kind of get chaotic. One day I'll find a proper system. Okay, what do we have for late lunch? We have leftover dense bean salad. It is dinner time and we are doing a beef udon soup, or like a version of it. I don't have an exact recipe. I am just using like ingredients I have at home. So I'm cutting up a bunch of the ramen things right now, and I'm gonna make them ahead of time. Honestly, if you get your soup hot enough, you can just like have the soup cook your ramen, but I kind of like to have the noodles pre-made ahead of time, mainly for like leftovers. And yeah. Hey Siri, set timer for 1:30, please. Let's mix this up and let this cook for 1:30. We'll be back. Oh. Pour that in there. Okay, I'm gonna cool this down a little bit. This will help with the stickiness, I think, later. Okay, those aren't like really oily in this light. Okay. Those aren't particularly the best udon noodles I've ever had, but it's what they had at 99 Ranch, so we're just gonna deal with it. This is the beef for our udon soup. I recommend not cooking it the way I did. I literally just threw the frozen block in there. It's thin meat, like kind of like shabu meat, so it was gonna come apart anyways, but if you like your meat a little bit more whole and not like ripped apart, maybe separate them, but I don't know. I don't really care. I am not a professional chef. Cook however you want to cook, okay? I'm gonna add my little sauce in here. Sauce is soy sauce, mirin, and some sesame oil. I'm just gonna add that here, mix it around and cook it. People have a beer or a glass of wine when they're cooking. I don't drink that much anymore, only socially. That being said, I do love me a Coke and ice. Not even Diet Coke, just full on Coke. Give me all the sugar. Okay, so the meat is all done cooking. I'm just gonna move it into this container for now. Clean this pan and make our stock next. I just don't like having a bunch of pots and pans on the stove. And I'm very much a firm believer in clean and go. We're gonna save all this delicious meat juice. Very good flavor. That is about 10 cups of water. And then I'm gonna add kind of this soup stock base. It's like they're little pouches. I'm gonna add 2 of them in there. And then once I bring it to a boil, I'm just gonna boil it for about like 20 minutes. And then after that, I'll probably add a little bit of soy sauce and some of my own extra seasoning, depending on how I like it. And then that's it, that's just dinner. Like easy peasy. Again, I know it's not the proper way to make a beef udon, but everyday real life cooking application, you're just using what you got at home. So, I mean, I did go out and buy the udon noodles, but for the most part, it's like these things I just kind of have at home. Okay, the broth is done. I did add a tablespoon of soy sauce, and I made some bok choy real quick because I had some and we had to use it up. So here we go. Dinner is done. Not bad. It is soup season, and we are gonna do a modified zuppa toscana. Really what that means is I'm gonna add some white beans and more kale. But first, my favorite thing to do, get gas. I'm joking, I hate getting gas. And I totally forgot to film last night cooking, but you get the general idea. Here is my zuppa toscana that I'm actually now having for lunch. There you go. Picked up some flowers. They are lovely. Unfortunately, a friend of mine's father passed away Friday. So these are condolence flowers, and we're gonna drop them off at her house real quick. So it's pretty warm today. It's like 87 degrees. We're gonna drop the flowers off at her house, but I'm a little worried because like, I don't wanna knock on the door. I just wanna leave her alone. But they said that the flowers can't be in like heat for too long or else the tulips will drop. They're pretty flowers, but for a sad event, but yeah. Good morning. It is a bit hot today. It's gonna go up to 92. So we're not gonna do our walk this morning, but we are gonna make coffee real quick at home. And I think I'm gonna end the video here. Thanks for hanging out with me.